Now, put the gun away. Put the gun away.
I'm gonna fucking kill that bitch.
No, listen. That is my reaction as well, right? Because in my mind, first of all, I don't have the full story. This is what I've been told, and from what I've been told, I'm trying to assess the situation. I spoke to Bjorn, and he told me that, well, he's mentioned in the phone call, he repeated himself a few times. I was just trying to help Denzel. And then I asked him, why did Andy make you do it? Or not make you do it, but why did you do it for Andy, whatever, right? And he's like, I was just trying to help Denzel. Now,
how does that help Denzel?
Listen, in my mind, okay, when you torture somebody, it's to extract information, not to make sure they're going to keep their mouth shut. But apparently they did it to see if he would keep his mouth shut, whatever the fuck that means. Then I guess at that point, after that happened...
well, I'm glad he's dead, first and foremost.
Oh, me too. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
I
I'm glad...
knew he was a rat. I kept saying this to myself. I'm like, because we wanted him to, become the mayor at one point, and like questions were coming up as to like, whether we want him involved in some of the business. He knew shit that Leslie knew, and there was all this like thing in the back of my mind. I'm like, I don't know if I trust this guy. Like, I get it. I had that conversation with you, right? Where I'm like,
Yeah, and I think everyone's had an opinion about him. Listen, I don't care that he's dead, quite frankly.
Yeah.
It bothers me that for some reason Andy is getting the nerds roped into shit that should not be roped into.
Exactly. Well, that's another fucking thing. That's why I want to fucking put her in the fucking ground.
Well, the issue is that she's married to Denzel. Denzel is literally, I've known Denzel for years, and I've never heard in my life him telling me straight up that he loves someone. And he straight up told me that he loves her, right?
Oh my
But on top of that, so after I guess they torture him or whatever, for whatever reason it was, the reason was to keep his mouth shut, to see if he would keep his mouth shut. Maybe he said something during this that they, I don't know, fucking believe them.
The only thing that I can think of is, okay, so
let me finish real quick, right?
Yeah.
So they bring him to Otto's Auto.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I guess he's there. He's asking for a gun or some shit. He looks real fucked up. This is from Otto's perspective now. And I guess, I don't know if I think he might have gotten back in the car with him. They had a conversation to the point where Bassem, at some point, Bassem, listen, this is very like, there's a lot of information missing, right? So just mind you when I tell you this shit, because I don't know the fucking full story yet. But at some point, Bassem decided he wanted to speak to Denzel one-on-one. And I don't know if it was to resolve this or whatever. Essentially ended up getting a hold of Denzel, him to have a conversation. During that conversation, Denzel murdered him in cold blood. And I think Denzel killed Bassem because at some point, like, he pulled a gun on Andy or some shit. He was very, very upset about that.
All right. I think I feel like the nerds have needed a curfew for a long time now. They need to stop staying awake late into DJ hours, because this is what happens.
Well, listen, I don't give a fuck.
It is past their fucking bedtime.
This is what I'm saying, right? I don't give a fuck that he's dead, and I can understand you want to kill somebody for opening their mouth, right? One, if somebody opens their mouth, you kill him, okay? Yeah. Don't put it in your head you're going to torture the guy and hope he keeps his mouth shut, because now you're just adding way more loose ends and the possibility of things leaking, which it did happen.
Yeah.
After that, after you torture the guy, you don't bring him somewhere public where people are going to see you be with this guy you just fucking torture.
This is so fucking bad. Oh my God. I told Pred I want to run for mayor. This is going to now it's going to look like I wanted Bassem dead, so
Pred showed up at the casino, the rooftop where me, Dean, and Marlo were talking, because prior to all of this, Marlo wanted to have a conversation because he's got more information, right? Yeah. And the information was that the last people that were seen with Bassem was Andy and Bjorn, right? That was the information. So while he was saying that, that's when I got the call from Bjorn.
We need to leave it here.
Okay.
I'm getting anxiety being so close to this spot right now. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God, this RP's so insane.
Hey, Nino, you got a car?
Yeah, the SUV.
Oh, I love that fucking SUV. Hey, Mickey, we'll be right back, all right?
All right, sounds good.
Oh, you can drive it. Come on.
I appreciate that so much.
My fucking head is spinning. This is like the worst set of coincidences like ever.
Oh, it really, really is. It's actually really bad.
I was so convinced it was Clarkson because like just the coincidence of it all, right? And him being run over, and convinced that Bass was involved because of the torturing. So I went to Pred this morning and after talking to Bassem, and I was like, listen, you need to keep this investigation really close to your chest because there's a lot of police corruption right now. And if your officers are involved, last thing you want to do is have them knowledgeable about the situation.
Yeah.
And he told me he still wants me to be a special prosecutor, but he also take me as the mayor.
Damn.
And I jokingly mentioned to him, man, that'd be real funny if I got him killed. Like, it's very convenient that he fucking died. I mean, then again, like, why the fuck would I, you know?
Well, the thing is, it doesn't even matter if you say those things because it didn't take me very long to find all this out. And the worst part was, as Bjorn called me, I was already being told by Marlo that people already know that they were the last people seen with Bassem.
Why is he saying that even? Oh my God, fucking. But that's the thing that fucking is the worst of it, right? Marlo and Andy are not exactly the most nonchalant individuals.
Well, that's my point, right? I get a little bit of PTSD with that fucking the Pegasus drama way back in the fucking day with Miles.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, that's the PTSD I'm getting right now because, like I said, sure, kill the cocksucker if he's opening his mouth. You do what you gotta do at the end of the fucking day. I just don't understand how. It's like I told Dean, these cocksuckers fucking YouTube how to get away with murder and skip the first 4 steps.
Exactly. What did Denzel ask them to do this?
So I don't know.
You do know that as much as Miles fucked up, right? And he learned his lesson. I fucking had him jump off a mountain, break his own legs.
Mm-hmm.
But he was never going to be put in that position if it wasn't for Denzel. Denzel put him in there, ended up stun locking him, which is why the gun was on him in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And I love Denzel to death, but sometimes he, you know, he's kind of in his own world and everyone else is kind of like, you know, trying to catch up to whatever madness he's got in his mind.
Oh, 100%. That's why I was so cautious with, you know, when the nerds started getting really close to Denzel, it didn't really bother me. And then they started getting really close to Annie, and then it bothered me a little bit because everyone's got their own agenda at the end of the fucking day. And then you fast forward now, from what I assess, mind you, I don't know for a fact. This is from my assessment from what I've been told. It seems to me that this started from Andy, rightfully so, being paranoid about Bassem opening his mouth. Maybe she couldn't get a hold of Denzel or didn't contact Denzel at all or whatever. The nerds were around. She got the nerds to help him do this shit. At that point, Bassem put a gun to her head, and then Denzel got, you know, you somehow found out that information, and then from there, Denzel just does what Denzel does. I mean, that's his fucking wife, right?
Yeah, and that's always the solution, to fucking X somebody.
Yeah. So that's my assessment. If that's true, I have no idea.
I actually entirely believe that because I think back of the Andy Jones versus, what the fuck was that guy's name? Thomas Dwayne.
Thomas Dwayne, yeah.
A lot of that was all a side effect of just paranoia. I don't even think, after speaking with Thomas, I'm sure Thomas has done some crazy shit, but I think a lot of the decisions, based on the retellings I've heard, is that a bunch of high school bullshit turned into fucking paranoia and may have led Thomas to do some things that were really stupid. Paranoia stemming from Andy.
I mean, that would make sense. I mean, even then, like I said, right? Like, this is what I told Bjorn. If Bassem was opening his mouth in visitation and people heard what he said, at that point, you just get rid of him. You don't do this whole bring him to an area, you torture him, let him live. Like, you just get rid of the motherfucker and you wash your hands clean. If that's what you felt like you needed to fucking do. Which, even that being said, I don't know if there was actually people around that heard what Bassem said because they were in visitation, right?
But why is Andy? I know you've already said, but like, why? Who the fuck is Andy to be telling the nerds to kidnap somebody and torture them?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what my line of thinking as well. Now, I know that they're close with Andy, so maybe she asked for help, and the nerds being the nerds, they're not going to say no to somebody who they love, right? I think they do love her in some regard, but what bothers me is that if you're going to wrap in other people, specifically the nerds, this needs to be clean, and nothing can come back to them. And the complete opposite happened, and I know for a fact it's a matter of time until Pred finds out that Andy and Bjorn were the last people seen with Bassem. He's gonna find this out. It's only a matter if he actually chases this fucking case, whatever, wants to figure things out. It's not gonna be hard for him to find that out.
Does Andy love Denzel?
I mean, I think so.
Right now, my mind is Andy needs to take the fall and sound like a crazy woman. No, but Denzel's never gonna let that happen. Fuck.
Denzel's not. This is why this is fucked, you know, because Denzel is gonna be very protective of Andy, and I just don't really fucking know what to do. Do I care? They kill the cocksucker? Fuck no.
I feel like we need to have Andy take the fall like that, but I don't know how. Fucking goddamn it! You're right, because at the end of the day, Denzel would more. I mean, he's already been looking for an exit. Why the fuck did let's pause for a second. I think Bassem's a fucking rat. I also
apparently he was embezzling money, by the way.
Oh,
I don't know if he's ever worked for you in sort of regard. You might want to check your accounts.
What do you mean? Who's been embezzling?
Apparently, Bassem's been embezzling money out of the companies he's worked for. Apparently, I don't know if it's true, and this is one thing that bothers me. Is if this is true, then it's true, and I get it. But if it's not true, why are people saying this?
He's between us. He's okay. This is like you got it to the grave. He was NBC's bank. I say that with, let's say 70% authority.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. So if he was embezzling, it wouldn't surprise me. One of the reasons why I was like very cautious about him, because I was like, I feel like I would have known this by now, right? I would have heard this from one of you guys. I've gotten this from somebody that, is, yeah.
Do you think he has all their money wrapped up in his accounts right now?
Yeah, because after Salim after Salim got raided, Salim was their bank before. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
And so where did the money have to go? How do they continue to operate? Well, you put it in the fucking deputy mayor's fucking bank account or whatever other bank accounts he's got.
This is so fucked.
Mm-hmm. And think about this. Salim is ready to fucking murder anybody. You saw how they handled they're about to go into Hell Week on Monday, right? I have Salim thinking it's the fucking cops. Everything works. They find out that it was Denzel. Who's going to be paying for it? You think they're going to stop?
Oh, the NBC, they don't give a... To their credit, that's why I admire them, they don't give a fuck. They have none to, they're they're natural born crackheads. They will clamp anybody.
Yeah, so where does that leave all of us? Right?
That's exactly why I'm so bent up over the fact that Andy had to rub the nerves into this shit.
They did not only lose a brother, they may have lost all their money, their fucking bank. The last fucking, their fucking, lifeline, their only lifeline. This is a fucking. This is awful. Why the fuck are we? Why are we paying for this? Who the
I don't
fuck is she to
fucking
make this
know.
decision?
And that's what that's one thing we need to find out is
I'm gonna
whose
kill her
decision
myself.
was this. I already texted her that I need to speak to her because I need to understand, did Andy have this conversation with Bassem at visitation, and then from that point she thought she was going to protect Denzel herself and take things upon herself until things got out of control to the point where Denzel got roped in as well and just killed this cocksucker, which is the very first thing they should have done.
Yeah. Oh my god.
This is some Fall of Troy shit, you know.
This is amazing. And Marlo is right now being grilled by Pred, and you know I like Marlo, and I'll continue to say it. That man lets other people enter his anus. He has like a fucking sign on it. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's sitting down there in front of Pred and telling him that Pred is gonna convince Marlo that Marlo killed Bassem. That's probably what's happening right now.
Oh, 100%. But at the same time, Marlo, he's there's only very few people that he's truly loyal to, and it's Dean and Otto. Everybody else he would double cross in a heartbeat to save his own ass.
I don't disagree. Does Marlo think that Dean's gonna get hurt by this?
I don't know. I don't think Marlo really knows much, to be honest. When I spoke to him, all he really knows is that Andy and Bjorn were last seen with Bassem.
He's gonna tell him.
I think he will tell Pred that. Yes.
It's already sketchy enough. So I got a phone call from Daryl saying that he was asking if I had a camera, and I asked him why, and he said he sees Pred and Marlo up on a hill or something by the casino or something like that. I don't remember exact details, and he wanted to take a photo of it or like zoom in and see what exactly was going on. And before he was able to do so, they moved away. So my question is, why would Pred go to Marlo in the first place?
He told me that his DNA was on scene, but I don't know if that's true. Because why do you care if Marlo's DNA was on? I'm assuming the scene was Otto's. Or maybe he meant the murder scene.
It's got to be the murder scene. Why would he? It's got to be. It
But
would have been
Marlo
on
wasn't
Del Perro.
anywhere near there, right? It was just Denzel. I think it was Denzel, and then they said a couple nerds were watching from a hill or some shit.
Where the fuck is Denzel?
And Denzel's the key. We need to speak to Denzel. We need to speak to fucking Denzel and figure this shit out.
This is so fucking bad. Who else was
really
there?
fucking
What
bad.
other nerds? Was it just Bjorn?
Bjorn, Lando, Stag, and Egg.
Oh my god! Wait, but why? Wait, but that why? Lando and Stag would have never allowed this to happen.
This is why it's not. They wouldn't allow it to happen, but at the same time, if the nerds love you, they will help you. And I know that they gotten very close with Andy. Very close.
I feel like Stag would have told her to eat a cock.
Yeah, exactly. Except for Stag. Stag will literally kill anybody in a heartbeat, causing drama in his life.
I mean, even Lando would have pulled back. They must have been forced into this. I don't think they would have done it on Andy's volition. Like Bjorn, maybe, right? I could imagine Bjorn's sympathy going. Egg would have followed along, but I feel like with Lando and Stag there, they would have stopped this in the tracks the moment they saw where this was headed.
Well, Lando is Denzel and Andy's kid. You know that, right?
God fucking damn it.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, and motherfuckers, listen, I did not trust Andy since she got closer to Denzel. Now, I am probably completely wrong in my assumptions of her. She probably truly does have feelings for Denzel. I can understand that, but the one thing that I feared is that Denzel will go crazy trying to protect her.
Yeah.
And then my fear grew once I realized that the nerds were getting very, very close to both of them. They were becoming a little family. Because I knew And I know Denzel for years that he is a time charged, and it's only a matter of time before shit pops off. With
You
Denzel.
know, Andy's the reason the HOA went to shit.
What does that mean?
Let me preface all this by saying I like Andy, except when she becomes den mother. A long time ago, I know you don't I don't know how much you remember about the HOA, but let me preface everything by saying this. I trust Andy to do best by me. To do best by me as a friend. But I do not trust her when it comes to running an operation and thinking big picture. I also don't trust her when it comes to anything emotional. A long time ago, the HOA was like a fucking terrorist organization. Daryl was at the top. So was Huck and Sis. And they did not give a fuck about anything. One day, Andy came along and everything changed. Everything became about protecting all the citizens that were a part of the HOA, and all of a sudden their bite disappeared. She completely changed their direction. And what I'm afraid of after hearing what you had to say is whether she played the same card with the nerds and is trying to steer not just Denzel, but their mindset. And that is fucking dangerous.
And steer him into one way. What do you mean? Like she... Can you explain that a little bit more?
Like, I don't think she has ill intent, but I think she has she can have like a vision for how things should be, and she can be very persuasive. She may have a mindset as to how her family should look like, and that family starts with Denzel and herself.
Dean's calling me. Hey, Dean. Sorry, I just was catching up Nino on shit. We're coming back to the comic book store right now. All right, see you in a bit. Sorry, continue.
And I don't think she necessarily means wrong by it, right? Like, I don't think there's necessarily any ill intent, but, you know, she doesn't exactly